Today on the DML News podcast, Trump makes an appeal to the Spanish speaker, feminists are invading space and they're being obnoxious about it, and Biden has returned from the basement. Can we please send him back? We have this and more, and it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hey everybody, it's Denny here today with Ryan on the production table, and he'll be joining us in a little bit. DML is out today. However, I want to make a very exciting announcement on DML's behalf. As many of you guys know, we have two current newsletters, 47 Report, which if you're not signed up for it, you totally should at 47report.com. Put your name and email in there and you'll be good to go. We have a referral program too, by the way. And when you refer and share with two people, we give you this awesome drink coaster. We've been sending out a lot of them. You definitely want to do that. DML newsletter, which you can also sign up for at dmlnewsletter.com. That's our second newsletter in the day that goes out usually around the evening time. That is a personally written one by DML. He usually delves deep into a topic that is an ongoing issue with the country or just something very intriguing that I think he feels the audience readers would definitely enjoy reading. So that is something you totally want to sign up for if you haven't already. But now we have a third one that we've actually been trying to get out for a little bit, but we've been kind of in the creative processes of figuring out how it's going to look, when it's going to go out, and that is the DML Health Newsletter. This one I'm very excited for because I think a very big component here to the whole second Trump administration and what they're aiming to tackle here, including with RFK Jr. in the role of Secretary of Health and Human Services, is the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again. So DML, and this is health is important to everyone, but I know this topic is very important to our dad because he's had his own medical issues in the last few years. As you know, Miss Mary's been dealing with her own issues currently. And I'm sure if you're watching this or listening, you've maybe had your own medical health issues or journey. His aim here is to highlight different reports, different stories, different trends that are all just concerning the American health atmosphere. And I think this is going to be one of those very popular reads that DML is going to be jumping on and being very dedicated to. So I would very much urge you to go to DML, you know the initials, dmlhealth.com. You can sign up, put your name in and your email, and you'll be good to go. He'll be sending it out regularly. And truthfully, too, I just think if you're really looking for more awareness as to what's going on in the country, 47 Report covers everything Trump administration and those that are against him. The DML News Report is covering the news topic stories and perspectives you usually don't see. DML Health is going to be your way to know maybe just how healthy the vitality is of our country. So you're going to want to sign up for that. And speaking of health, I'll be remiss not to mention it. As DML has mentioned this week, because I haven't been on the program, I've been doing CBD orders because we are still running our BOGO special for DML CBD. It was supposed to end last Friday. We're extending it because we've been actually getting outreach from people who just didn't even know what was going on. So right now, it's still currently active. If you have trouble ordering, you can always email Ashley at dmlcbd.com. And you buy 2, you get 4. You buy 4, you get 8. So I think it's a great deal. And a lot of them have been shipped out this week. So definitely jump on that if you haven't yet, because at some point, especially considering we're going to be kind of moving out of here relatively in the future, it's better for us to have the low inventory when we make that move, and we are starting to get low, so you're going to want to jump on it. With all that said, considering we are talking about health, how nice has it been that we are now in a year where we don't have to hear Joe Biden every day? In fact, we're going to play a clip, and Ryan cut this clip yesterday, and if you're on Facebook, you should totally go to DML's page and share this reel if you want a good laugh. But Joe Biden has returned, or at least briefly so. If I was the leader of the Democrat Party, I would be trying to hide him at every venture and possibility that there is. And yet they brought him out yesterday. And if you're wondering if it was a good idea, I'll let this clip speak for itself.
It's about dignity. Simple dignity. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, regardless of their standing, regardless of economic situation, regardless of who they are. Making sure that more than 60 million Americans who are living with disabilities are treated with dignity is who we are as Americans.
I said it to Ryan yesterday when he cut this clip because, in between the gaffes and the giggles there, I just couldn't stop laughing. I am so blessed that we do not have to report on this man anymore, at least not to a capacity. I mean, this Joe Biden, right? Besides referring to what he has done to this country, such as mass illegal immigration, allowing inflation to go rampant, and basically just the degeneracy of our culture expediting itself based on his policies. It's been really nice not having to talk about him, mention him, even talk about Kamala taking over his spot. I think Jill, Dr. Jill, if she really needs that title here, should maybe take this as a sign of, ooh, this is why he didn't win, or I should say, this is why he had to drop out. And maybe we should just go back to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware and keep him hidden from the cameras, because Democrats are really in a disarray here, or at least I'm hoping so, because we'll talk a little bit later, probably more towards the end of the show, regarding AOC and Bernie Sanders' big oligarchy tour, or Stop the Oligarchy tour. But here you have Biden speaking basically at a Democrat event, and it's a very big showcase that the Democrats, again, do not have their act together. I would just say that their strategy, and I don't want to give them advice, would be to never, ever, ever mention Joe Biden again, unless it's in the context of we made a mistake. But here he is speaking, or attempting to speak, and it's just a reminder that regardless of how you overall feel about Trump, we at least have someone competent in the White House. And I do truly mean that. I mean, his health report just came out, and we're actually going to play a clip here. Trump just did an interview with Fox Noticias, which is the Spanish branch of Fox News. I'm going to have some comments about that. But before we really get into the nitty-gritty of what else was discussed in this interview, Trump with Rachel Campos Duffy, and if that name Duffy sounds familiar, it's because it is the wife of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. She is Spanish, or a Spanish speaker, I should say. And one of the questions was about Trump's health. And he kind of lays it down to his stamina and his genetics being the reason that he can be the powerhouse that he is at someone his age. So we're going to play this clip here. And he even mentions about how he got a lot of what he is today from his parents, which is always wonderful to hear. So let's play that clip.
I've always said energy is genetics. I had two great parents. They had a long-term marriage. A very, very long-term marriage. I'll never beat them at that. So one thing I'll never beat them. We don't have enough years left. But they had a great relationship, but they had great energy. And my father died at just about almost 94. And he was a very strong guy. And my mother, likewise, she was a wonderful woman, but she lived a very long life, and she had a tremendous sense of energy, and she had energy inside and out. I mean, she was the life of the party, and I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes from generally. I could say probably the same for you.
Yeah, genetics.
I think genetics is a big answer. Even, when people have a friend, his mother died at 49 from a heart attack, and his father died at 50, and he's 60, and he's walking around saying, "I'm not supposed to be here." But and he's not a particularly nice person, so I say maybe you're right about that. But no, genetics, a big factor is genetics.
Yeah. So if you have been following, Trump did just get his health report back, or his physician's report. Every president does so, although Biden seemed to really hide his back when he was president. But just as maybe some attributes to highlight here since it came out. I mean, when he's not busy, running around from place to place or going to state, or, when he has his casual weekends playing golf in Mar-a-Lago, I mean, it's a lot of activity and it's a lot of stress on all fronts that a man at his age has to deal with. But according to the report, Trump stands at 6 feet 3 inches. He has a weight of 224 pounds, placing him in the overweight category, but below the obesity threshold. He's a big guy. His resting heart rate was recorded at 62 beats per minute, and his blood pressure was measured at 128/74, which is both within healthy ranges. Trump also scored sorry, I'm laughing here. You'll see why. He scored a perfect 30 out of 30 on the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test, indicating no apparent cognitive impairment, which is great. And then he's got some other, the medical report noted minor health issues, including sun damage to the skin, a benign colon polyp discovered during a recent colonoscopy, and scarring on his right ear from the previous gunshot wound that he attained in Butler, Pennsylvania over the summer. So besides that, and he's got a cream for rosacea, and he uses some cholesterol control medicines. He's a healthy guy, at least someone for his age who's president of the free world, or the leader of the free world, I should say. So when you kind of have him, and then you compare it to what we just saw with that clip of Joe Biden, regardless of maybe of some of the recent decisions by Trump, I just am going to say because I'm going to have to get to some critiques soon, I'm very blessed this man is our president. I think if we lived in a reality where Biden never dropped out and somehow he won, imagine having to hear that every day. I don't think we would be here to report it, let alone his second in command, Kamala, where we would just have to hear the word salads every day, and that would just be equally as terrible. So very thankful that that's not the case. Now, I do want to mention, before we start getting to the critiques, he did talk about two things he found very successful as we're getting closer to the 100-day mark of the Trump presidency, the second Trump presidency. We don't have the clip for it, and doesn't need to be too matter of fact on it, but he does talk about how he sees the tariff strategy as successful, because he is getting countries to drop their tariffs that are on us, come to the negotiating table to discuss what we can do with a trade partnership, and basically trying to establish the U.S. back as the top dog of the world, although he is obviously still in this contentious trade war of sense with China. And that's a whole nother topic we'll save for another day, because I usually like bringing DML on that because he always has a lot to say about that. But one thing that I said it on the show not too long ago, I'll definitely give him an A+ on, is border security, meaning specifically tightening up any loose ends at the border, making sure no one's crossing over, making sure that the rates are at literally bare minimum. And he does say to Rachel here that he finds it to be a great accomplishment of what they've been able to do just with 80 or so days in office. So we are going to play that clip.
The border is very, very secure right now. And we didn't need legislation. We needed a president to say, that's it, no more people coming in. And the other day, you probably saw the statistic. It was like for a long period of time, 9 people, and they came in because they had a medical problem. Well, we actually took them in because one of them had a heart attack, one of them had something else. No, the border is very secure. We're going to make it a longer border. I built 571 miles of wall, which nobody likes to talk about, but it's the way it is. And I had to take the money because the Senate and the House, they were not in a giving mood. So I took the money out of the military. I called it an invasion. It's an invasion of our country. And it really worked. Walls work. Remember when they said, the Democrats would say, you don't need walls. Well, two things work. What are the two things? Walls and wheels. They'll never change. Yes. Everything else is obsolete immediately, but walls and wheels will never change. And we have a very secure border right now.
Like I said, A+. I commend the Trump administration for empowering Border Patrol and our officers down there. I can only imagine, and I don't even need to imagine because I've been around with my father on some of the interviews when it comes to it. But I can only fathom maybe how frustrating the day-to-day was when Alejandro Mayorkas, as the DHS, was just allowing these people to pour in droves that seemed like something from an apocalyptic Netflix movie. We're far from that now, as Trump said, right? 9 people, health emergencies, you're kind of forced to do it. But that is astoundingly low compared to when it was droves of hundreds to thousands to what equates to probably way, way, way into the millions after a 4-year period. So I think it's fantastic. Um, he's got to keep to it, and I think he will. And I'm not trying to diminish it, but of course that maybe was more of the easiest target and tactic to do, right? Because he even says it. You don't need Congress to do it. You just do it. Executive authority, close up your border. So Trump just is in a way showing that it can very easily be done, and he's doing it. So I commend him for that. But I am going to play a clip here that I'm not a fan of, and we're just going to have to maybe have a little discussion after you guys hear it. But one of the things that Trump mentions to Rachel in this interview, which again, I'll kind of go into, and after we play it, why I have an issue of where and why he did this interview. But here he's talking about trying to, or about to establish a new self-deportation initiative that will be coming up. And basically, I don't know if we can really so much call it a self-deportation as much as move them out for them just to come back in.
As you probably know, we're doing a self-deportation. And we're going to make it comfortable for people. And we're going to work with those people to come back into our country legally.
¿Está funcionando la autodeportación?
Well, we're starting it. We haven't started it right now. We're getting the murderers out. We have our total aim on the very bad ones, as you can imagine, because you have some great people that came in. But we have some very bad ones. We had 11,088 murderers. Half of them killed more than one person. Mm-hmm. These are rough, bad people. We want them out. And that's mostly our focus. Yeah. But what we want to do is we're going to have a self-deportation program, which we haven't even announced yet. I guess I'm announcing it to you. Why not, Rachel? Here it is. The only thing I haven't determined is what are we going to do? We're going to give them a stipend. We're going to give them some money and a plane ticket. And then we're going to work with them. If they're good, if we want them back in, we're going to work with them to get them back in as quickly as we can.
Look, I understand why Trump would do an interview with Fox Noticias, right? We went from the first few weeks saying executive order, English only in this country, even his staff going into the government websites and deleting Spanish-written pages. So now he's doing an interview like this, and while I might get critique back saying like, well, it's just one interview. Yeah, of course. But there's no doubt that this is a bit of a softening in a way. Not necessarily saying that he's going to start making backtracks on his immigration rhetoric, but I will just note that when he was on the campaign trail, it was mass deportations to now we're going to urge them to leave only for them to maybe then just come back. And I don't like that. I'll tell you why. They came here illegally in the first place. Are we now just going to expect that they will be upstanding and honest? Because if they self-deport, they know that they're going to get the one-way ticket back and get citizenship. I won't even go so far with some of the critique I've already seen with this clip in particular. Some people are actually calling it subtle amnesty. I won't go that far, at least not yet. But I don't think that this is a smart approach. And I understand that even though maybe I'm more hawkish with the immigration because, Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. If I was the one to make decisions, I would be putting a full stop to immigration for at least a multi-year span just so we could get the rest of this country and its act in order. But here we are kind of already giving out the message of, hey, if you self-deport, there's always room for you to come back. It's like at that point, it's almost like a canceling out. Why not at that point just throw them the citizenship? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like me saying, get out of my house, but walk back through the front door in 5 minutes. No, like get out of my house because I'm locking the door and you're out. You came in, unannounced. And there's no doubt that he's doing it on Fox Noticias because it's the Spanish wing. It's supposed to give Spanish speakers and anyone with that heritage in the U.S. some comfort. And, I'll be honest, too, it's very easy to go to Fox News and do these softball interviews. And I want to clarify, too, but, obviously with Rachel Campos Duffy being the wife of an administration official, she's not going to be asking Trump the hardcore questions. And I can't blame Trump because I'll say this in his defense. I don't really know another modern day politician that has had so much antagonism tossed in his way For every Biden or Kamala interview where they got pushback, there's at least 10 of them out there where Trump received it over the last few years. So maybe there is a way of just saying like, hey, if I go to Fox News, at least I know like I could get my messaging out, but not have to maybe answer the hard questions. But my question would be, where is the net benefit of just telling someone to self-deport just to bring them back and essentially give them the leeway to citizenship? If it's supposed to be an honesty policy, well, it still cancels itself out. They came here with dishonest intentions. You cross the border, that's illegal. So I don't know, not the biggest fan of it. And it's a softening in a way. I mean, there's no better indicator than Trump attempting to say, "Make America Great Again" in Spanish at the end of the interview. Ryan will play the clip.
Mr. President, I'd like to teach you how to say, "Let's make America great again" in Spanish. So, vamos a hacer América grande otra vez.
America grande otra vez.
So again, not trying to beat up on Trump too much here. I'm just more giving my opinion as someone who has, at least hopefully, many years of my life left. And I was just watching a streamer on X who just did a Grok the AI, an analysis of the diminishing white population in multiple countries, especially European countries. And Grok, based on data with the decline and not a very sustainable birth rate to offset it, you could be looking at the end of the 21st century with basically almost every country with a minority white population. Only ones that were actually exempted from the analysis was like Russia and some more Eastern European Slavic countries. But, Sweden, France, England, all of them, like just it was around like the 2060, 70 range where it would be minority English. And that's if we don't have some radical world leaders coming in and really expediting the process. So I don't want to see the U.S. become where our founding, which was white Christian men, that's what it was. Sorry, anyone who disagrees, all of a sudden become not its national identity anymore because, the melting pot theory. So I don't know, not a fan of that. But like I said, I will always commend where it needs to be commended. And what Trump has done for the border was long overdue. So that's why I'm thankful that he is here and that he can actually speak to it. Because if it was Joe Biden, he would say, Congress needs to approve this. And then Congress would just say the president can do it. And it would just be back and forth for quite literally 4 years. So thankful on that front. Ryan, we're going to talk about, though, just leaving Earth here, how, one step for man is one leap for mankind. Actually, sorry. I think I jumped the gun there, apparently, saying mankind. No, seriously. Apparently, we got to make sure we don't use mankind anymore. We have to use humankind. That's at least according to Mae Jemison, who likes to tout that she was the first woman of color to go to space. And I'm not kidding. Here is the video clip of Mae Jemison right before the Blue Origin rocket launch, which we'll talk about.
So explain to our audience why even a trip like this one, all the trips that we take into space benefit mankind.
So it benefits humankind, and I'm going to keep correcting the mankind and the man-made and the man missions, because this is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space.
I have all the respect for you, Miss Jemison, especially since you're a pioneer in the astronautical field and you went to space in 1992. But mankind is a subset of human. So maybe we'll just stop with the obnoxious woke garbage that everyone is going to roll their eyes and cringe to when you say something like that, and maybe just, talk about the space launch. Speaking of the space launch, if you've been living under a rock and you have no idea what I'm talking about, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon and a man with way too much money in his hands, decided that, I guess to grab headlines, and I guess we're guilty of it for reporting on it, but I just have so much to say about it. He basically, with his Blue Origin space program, in this little capsule that has a very strange phallic shape to it, launched 6 women into space, or really kind of just the outer atmosphere, for a few minutes, only for them to come back down. And rather than, it being six upstanding women in different various fields of maybe science and engineering, it was basically five narcissistic women, along with Jeff Bezos's Latin Barbie wife, Lauren Sanchez. So we're going to play the clip here of basically these women in space. Again, all this money, all this effort, all this time, energy, and resource to basically send them into space for a few minutes and then for them to come back down. And then we get to hear these people, including one of them being Katy Perry, who rose to fame because she released a song 10 years ago about kissing girls, talking about how basically woman empowerment is the reason for space travel. And they should be really proud that they were the crew. And I use that very sarcastically. They were more just passengers. That they went to space when maybe, we could be using our allocated time for other means. So Ryan has a little super clip here that he cut of the women going to space and them speaking after, and then we're going to talk about it.
Got it? 1, 2, 3, take up space!
Tamir's in space.
It's okay. Leave Flynn up there. Flynn, bye. You look.
Flynn, I gotcha. Flynn.
Gotcha. Proud of you, Flynn. Flynn, can I nap? Oh, the moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing.
Wow, look at the blue line.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goddess!
Wow. Oh my
That's our pink moon.
Okay. Now it's time to look out for this.
Oh my
Space
gosh.
palace.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Whoa. That's amazing.
Katie!
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown, trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training, it's the team, it's the whole thing. I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up there because what you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey. And then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure. And you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong, divine feminine right now.
By the way, you're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour.
And I'm so proud of us. I really am proud of me, because I never in a gazillion years thought I could do this. And I just saw a video of us walking up the, I don't want to call it plank, but what's the proper?
Right. This is when I have to give some major kudos to Elon Musk. You got Elon Musk, who, unfortunately, as much as he's trying to do with Doge, and I'm glad he's doing a lot, but so much of what he's trying to cut and cancel is somehow going to have to get congressional approval, which is going to be very difficult knowing how Congress works. And even their aim for $1 trillion cut has now kind of dropped down to $150 billion. Maybe we'll talk about that more on the show tomorrow. And then he tries to release the reins, or the chains, I should say, on X. And as much as I love X, it really has become a swampy cesspool of very crappy algorithms where you don't even get to really enjoy or see the things that people you follow are posting. Instead, you're just getting sloppy bait engagement from very strange accounts that are run by, honestly, foreigners through computer bot farms. That's another thing for another day. But one of the things that Elon Musk maybe at this point is like, I'm just going to divert every energy and resource to it, is getting SpaceX to really expand the ground of what it means for space travel and really bringing it to the next level. And I'm glad he's not doing something as gimmicky as sending 6 celebrities to space for them to come back down and lecture us about the divine feminine, and that we should all be very proud of them for doing so. If anything, I give the kudos to Elon Musk, because it's very impressive to send a rocket back and then catch it. I'm just not very impressed here with Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin attempt here.
Yeah, the Blue Origin is like a sideshow. So I was just looking into how high they actually went.
Yes.
So the Blue Origin went 62 miles, which is right on the line of I guess, I don't know how you would pronounce it, the Kármán line.
Yes, the Kármán line.
Yeah, that line is the line between, space and Earth's atmosphere, which, Earth's atmosphere expands beyond that, but they were barely in space. Like the ISS is 250 miles off, the surface of Earth. They went 62 miles. So like you could just tell in the video, like they barely were there. I mean, Elon's sending rockets to the ISS, bringing people back. The Blue Origin's capsule, it's not like they're catching the rockets. You saw in the video, the Blue Origin capsule was just in the dirt. So it was just such a publicity stunt. And if, Blue Origin's whole thing is going to be pay a lot of money to be in space for 6 minutes, then okay, whatever. But, the overreaction by those feminists on the rocket were it was nauseating.
Very nauseating. I mean, look, we're kind of in a day and age where liberal women continue to invade men's spaces, right? I mean, you had men-only golf country clubs. You had Boy Scouts of America, and they slowly just kind of get creeped in with, I'm not going to use woman as a broad term, because there are very nice, logical, reasonable, conservative women out there who know that it's a men's-only space, right? I'm sure actually everyone I just listed in that category are probably listening to the show. You may even have a husband who needs like his own man cave and basement to go hang out with and hang out in, and like, hey, that's his time. But liberal women don't understand that concept. So now we have them quite literally invading space, or at least, them in a rhetoric saying space, when in actuality, it's
one of the astronauts that were stuck on the ISS was a woman. She didn't come down screaming about feminism and this and that.
Sunita Williams.
An actual astronaut.
Yes.
Not someone that just paid $1 million to hop on a flight.
Right. And
be in space for 7 minutes.
And even our previous clip with Mae Jemison, again, I'll give her all the kudos for doing that. But like falling into the rhetoric of it's got to be humankind, not mankind. Like, come on. I'm all for you have, like, I know I've vouched on the show before that it's very important for women to realize that motherhood or becoming a wife or becoming, whether it is a housemaker or just someone who is in charge of the house and while the husband's out at work, is super very important. It's something that's so devoid and lost in our culture. But yes, I will also say it's very important too that if you're a woman and your aspiration is, I want to see if I can maybe join SpaceX or NASA and go to the moon and explore, like Sunita Williams, that's fantastic too. We need more of that. But when you put this broad paint stroke of this feminized message that it's got to be women who do it, it's got to be women because, it's always been men. I hate to break it to you, Gayle King and Katy Perry. The reason you're even in the rocket in the first place, going up, to the Kármán line, is because of men. It's because of people like Buzz Aldrin and Alan Shepard and Neil Armstrong, and then those that don't even get named because they were at the control booth. All right, there's a reason. So this idea that it's got to be, let's push them to the side so we can get the feminist message across. Honestly, it's crippling because the reaction to this, even by some celebrities, has been, rightfully so, overwhelmingly negative. I don't see a lot of people saying, yes, you go, Katy Perry. Thank you for wasting millions of dollars to go up for 4 minutes and basically turn the cameras for selfie purposes rather than, if I was up there, I would just be staring at the window at Earth and at the moon for quite literally the entire continuity of that entire trip, which was, again, only a few minutes. They spend it making sure that their faces are in the selfie glam shots and that they're all glammed up. And I would very much be curious what happens with Botox when you're in space, because my gosh, Lauren Sanchez really needs to ease up on the needle. But I think it just goes to show, right? It's all the me show rather than, how about you just absorb the moment you're doing something that millions of people will never get the chance to do. And that's what they do to spend their time. So, they come back. Katy Perry's kissing the dirt for some reason. And, the reaction has been, why? What's the point? This is stupid. And apparently Gayle King is very upset about that. And again, we're going to play a clip here of her trying to justify that this was really a big moment for women everywhere, that any woman can just go do it, which I'm going to very much hardcore disagree. But we'll play the clip for you guys to determine.
This is what bothers me, because I've certainly read some of the things online coming from people that I know, that I like, that I consider friends. And this is what I would say to that. Space is not an either or, it's a both and. And because you do something in space doesn't mean you're taking anything away from Earth. And what you're doing in space is trying to make things better here on Earth. What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet cleaner. I mean, Jeff Bezos has so many ideas, and the people that are working there are really devoted and dedicated to making our planet a better place. That's number one. Number two, have you been? Have you been? If you've been and you still feel that way after you come back, please let's have a conversation. Number three, please don't call it a ride. That is not a friggin' ride. Whenever a man goes up, you have never said to an astronaut, boy, what a ride. We duplicated the same trajectory that Alan Shepard did back in the day, pretty much. No one called that a ride. It was called a flight. It was called a journey, because a ride implies that it's something frivolous or something that's lighthearted. There was nothing frivolous about what we did and the machine that we were on, and what it took for the people to get that machine up and running, to get us up and get us back down safely. So, I'm very disappointed and very saddened by it. And I also say this, what it's doing to inspire other women and young girls, please don't ignore that. I've had so many women and young girls reach out to me, and men too, by the way, men too, that say, wow, I never thought I could do that, but I see you doing it at this stage of my life. Who would have thunk it? Not me. And how inspired they are.
Oh, Ryan, it gets exhausting having to listen to these women, truthfully. Something tells, even when she used that, what she was saying, they're like, sending them off into space, to get rid of, the trash. It's just like, maybe go stay in space. Seriously, just send them to the moon. Although maybe technically the moon at this point, considering no one's been back in a while, is still a man's only space. So if we send them there next, we officially have gotten rid of any men only space.
I just want to go off that point of the only reason why that group was on the Blue Origin is because of their fame.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their fame and the money that they have. I mean, that's really it. They were good for a PR stunt.
Yes.
And they're too and they can't comprehend that. They can't see I kind of got used for a PR stunt.
You know what I would have been more impressed with? I would have, and even though I'd still find it'd be like, okay, what are we doing here? I would have been more impressed if Jeff Bezos maybe chose 6 women who are actually in STEM fields, maybe young and old, or maybe someone who was an astrophysicist and never got the chance to really go up there.
Yeah, 6 women that helped build the rocket.
Yeah, so maybe someone who actually, what was looking to always go to space but never got the chance because, if we want to go the liberal route, because it was always a man's field. Instead, he chose Katy Perry and Gayle King. Like, come on, Jeff. Come on. Maybe just stick to, Amazon at this point. And that's why, again, I got to commend Elon Musk, because he doesn't really go for those gimmicks. And I know he views it as a gimmick, sending 6 very narcissistic women up into the somewhat space for them to just spend 5 minutes making sure they're in their selfie video. Oh gosh, what are we doing here, people? I have some very, very probably depressing updates, because DML spoke about this yesterday, and this is kind of our last topic for the show today. As many of you know from yesterday, Carmelo Anthony, the black teenager that killed a white teenager, Austin Metcalf, his bond was slashed yesterday from $1 million to $250,000, which was covered by the Give, Send, Go donations that he received. And by the way, if you really want to know how maybe deprived some people are out there, and just maybe if you want to know how much racism is actually attributed to white people, or I'm sorry, thrusted upon white people, meaning others being racist to us, I would tell you to go to the Give, Send, Go page. Do not give money, obviously, but go through the comment thread, because I did last night for about 30 minutes going through the comments. And I just got to say, there is, well, yeah, I'm just going to say it. There is a large portion of black people out there that really hate white people. I just got to say it. It's, I mean, not only commending Carmelo for being released, but cheering him on. There was even one woman who wrote, like, I've been, you did something that I never thought I could do when I wanted to defend myself, which already the warping of this whole topic that Carmelo Anthony was defending himself, that this was self-defense. I sometimes feel like we're living in a dystopian movie that makes no sense. But I tell you, go to the donation page if you really want to just say, like, wow, it's really as bad as I thought it was, and look through the comments, and you just realize some people just have no sense of morality. But with that said, not only was Carmelo Anthony released from prison yesterday, he was able to use, or his father was able to use, the donation money to move into an $800,000 house that they are now renting in a gated community. And Ryan actually has the picture of the two people who, Ryan, you could throw up the picture right now, who basically rented their house out to them. Sandeep and Manasa Maredi. They own the $825,000 house in Frisco. They don't live in it, though. They are actually out of country. You could probably guess where based on those names in the pictures. But they were very, I guess, amicable to the Anthony family and allowed them to basically rent out this near $1 million home while Carmelo Anthony, basically is on house arrest instead of behind prison bars. Because even though he got to walk out of jail and return to his parents, Austin Metcalf will never be able to do so. So I just want to say, Sandeep and Manasa Maredi, shame on you. I just, seriously, shame on you. I am at a loss of words when it comes to this case. And I'll probably get more flack, and I don't care. But I really think Trump or someone in the Trump administration should say something. Trump did tweet about George Floyd when he was murdered, because that was during his presidency, and he tweeted it almost right away. Nothing has been said about this, and I know there's gonna be like, well, it's a case that maybe they shouldn't be commenting on, or it just, no. There's clearly a ignited fire here of, okay, there's a growing violent trend against white people. I mean, there was just a white man killed with a hatchet in Arizona. He was at a bus stop with his wife, who was just basically suffering from the loss of a child, a stillborn, months prior. And now her life is ruined even further because she had to watch her husband, in a random act of violence, get killed with an axe by a very deranged black person. And just the temperature in this country is very high right now when it comes to, I think, race relations. And I don't want it to, come to that way. But when you go through the Give, Send, Go comments and you see black people quite literally wishing death upon the white race, oh man, that's just, that really eats at your psyche. But I don't want to end on a horrible note here. Since I haven't been on the show in the last 2 days because I've been so busy with the CBD orders, I actually want to give, early before closing the show, today's Team DML blessing to Brendan Hessler, who will be me and Ryan's future brother-in-law. As DML has stated for the last few days, Brendan proposed to Ashley this past weekend. It was a big sibling group effort. I even altered my cell phone camera settings to make sure I could take the highest quality photo, and Ashley was super surprised. She's been very happy. The ring looks amazing. So my blessing goes out to Ashley too. I just usually save hers for her birthday, which is around the corner. But I want to give a very big blessing to those two because I haven't been able to speak on it yet. But their future together is going to be very bright and happy, and the love those two have for each other just literally knows no bounds. So the fact that Brendan's going from fraternity brother to brother-in-law is kind of crazy, but I wish them all the best. But that is actually for the Team UML blessing. It's for those two today. But to further, Ryan, do you have any more comments for today's show? You're good to go. Well, then for reminders, 47report.com, sign up for the 47 Report newsletter. Then you go to the dmlnewsletter.com and sign up for the DML newsletter. And then DML Health. This one, like I said in the beginning of the show, very excited for it. I know our dad's going to do really good work with it because he's passionate about it. So dmlhealth.com, sign up, share it with people. Maybe we could try and get a referral program with that as well. But we're going to start out at least just rolling it out this week because we've been really wanting to get it out there. And considering we're trying to get these CBD orders out as fast as possible, go to dmlcbd.com/BOGO and take advantage of the BOGO before, it's definitely too late and the inventory is low. Until then, we should be back for a live program tomorrow. So I hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.